Turn around.
What?
What?
Nothing.
Right.
It's just there's married people things happening and you can't.
What's up, everybody? And welcome to the Papa Bear Podcast. One of the notes I had was that I need to stop screaming the intro because apparently people's ears are bleeding. So welcome to the Papa Bear Podcast. The Papa Bear Podcast. If you're telling your friends about it, I need to be just a little bit louder than that. Just a little bit because I can't. I'm a drummer. I preach on occasion. I can't be that quiet. I can't do it. Can't do it. It's not possible. Okay, so if you are listening, thank you so much. If you're watching, you get that. If you're listening, you don't know what you get. All right, so let's start this off. Mad love to you guys. We are still doing the competition. If you don't know what competition I'm talking about, shame on you. Unless this is your first episode that you're listening to. And then welcome to the 10th episode! Woo! We're so excited. That's as crazy as it's going to get. Honestly, I had something else planned.
I was going to get you cupcakes with 10 candles on them, but I forgot.
If there was ever a better reason for not having cupcakes, I can't think of one. So thank you guys for listening. If you've been listening for the last 10 episodes, I didn't think it had been this long, but I was like, holy cow, this is crazy. I'm looking at my guests that are across the table, but I've already instructed them not to talk, so they're just quietly interacting. And if you've ever met my guest that's across the table directly, you know that this is probably his longest streak of not talking in a very long time.
Since I was born.
This is going to be a great episode, guys. I hope you listen to this whole thing because, it's going to get litty. All right, so we're still doing the competition, the contest. What that is we want you to design a new logo. If you have a logo design for a beta logo, as we're calling it, or the sub logo, or the whatever else you want to call it. I don't know. It's not the A logo, it's the B logo. It's not the B logo, it's whatever. So send that in to thepapabearpodcast@gmail.com. We'll look it over, enter you into the contest, and if you win, you get 2 free shirts. One with the main logo and one with the side logo. Call it the side piece. While we're talking about relationships. I don't know. We don't believe in side pieces here, so you can call it whatever you want.
What?
We didn't end a dating relationship last week, but I'm telling you. So yeah. We're super excited about that. Get those entries in. We'll be running that contest through the rest of the month of February. Super excited about that. And now, I need to introduce my guests for the week. If you know them, you love at least one of them. It's her. It's the wife. It's Miss Abigail. It's Mr. Etienne Doucet and his wife, Abigail!
What up? Y'all didn't see that coming. Unless you're in video, then you saw us awkwardly playing.
Sitting here. Doing
being
nothing.
Weird. You're right. That might have been the longest time period in my life that I have not spoken.
And I feel like...
It's changed me.
Has it?
Yeah, I don't
No.
know how to feel right now.
Oh no.
I wonder why I can't hear from God, and I think it's maybe because I talk too much.
That's conviction right there.
That... BD words of wisdom.
Hashtag BD words of wisdom.
Are we allowed to say that? Isn't
I
that
don't know, is it
copyrighted?
Probably copyrighted.
I
We're gonna
think that's
get
so
sued.
copyrighted. I don't
But we'll
know.
cite him. That's a quote from Bradley Dees, I'm pretty sure.
That
Well, then it's
is.
copyrighted.
That
We
is.
just stole it. We can't do that.
We can tweet that.
Hey, why don't we just...
Well,
can you bleep that
I'll get
section
the
out?
rights. I'll get the rights. Oh my god.
He used to put us on his live story.
Yeah, there you go. Now he has
Alright.
to shout us out because we shouted him out.
Hey, Listen, he actually wants to be on the podcast.
We're being smart.
He wants to bring the podcast to D's.
Wow.
Wow. I mean,
I'm all
it's a
about
bad
it.
idea.
It's not a bad idea, I think.
No. And I think you should try multiple foods while you're there. Food reviews.
Food reviews at D's.
Wow, Bradley Dees speaks wisdom over you.
You want to join our PRT?
Listen, we got some big...
Oh,
that was the other announcement I didn't make, is that we actually, here at the Papa Bear Podcast, while you talk about that, we have some big things potentially in the works. And I am so excited. Like, you guys I'm just saying. I literally cannot give anything away because nothing has been secured yet. And I'm pretty sure this would be the episode that person actually listens to, and then we would lose it all.
Exactly. So secrecy is key here.
Yeah, you just can't say anything. And that is how you build a healthy relationship. And today we're talking about relationships, but
You build a healthy relationship by not saying anything?
Whoa.
I'm confused.
So, Etienne, would you like so we love having you guys on here. This is your first time on.
First time. This is the first podcast I've ever been a part of. And I love
That is
podcasts.
so
I'm like a
crazy to
podcast
me.
junkie.
That is so crazy. Like, you are a podcast. You're the one that got me into, like, listening to podcasts.
So I'm honored. Thank you for the Pop Bear Podcast. For bringing my dreams to reality.
He's been waiting for this his whole life.
Literally. I've been talking about this for weeks.
We talked the other
Months.
night, bro.
His whole
He
life.
was like, dude, if you need anything, bro, tell me.
No, I'm like the biggest fanboy. I'm like, if you need anyone, anything, please call me. You want to talk about sports? I got you. Weather? I got you.
Listen, we're all about it here at the Papa Bear Podcast. That's why we love you.
Thank you.
But we
Appreciate
love her
it.
more.
Obviously, like we're here because she's here.
Listen, I just want to... So, before we let you introduce yourself, I just want to give the fans a little taste of how busy you are. Because you
Ooh,
are a
cool.
super busy person.
We're a little busy. Just a little.
Just to give you an idea. So, I always I enjoy eating with you.
Yes.
I do like meeting with you for times and talking about different things. So the youth just had a fundraiser, right?
Yes.
And I just had to buy
A lunch date.
a lunch date with you.
But hold on, who were you outbidding for the lunch date?
I think we can add him.
Yeah.
At Patrick Anderson?
Yes.
Yeah, I got in a bidding war with Patrick Anderson so that we could have lunch with him.
Yes.
I mean,
I feel like Abigail sometimes feels like she has to buy my time too.
I told her to actually start
much.
bidding on that.
Probably should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fine though. But so tell us a little bit, unless you want your beautiful wife to go first.
Yeah,
It's
let's
up
let
to you.
Abigail start for sure. She's
so
much more interesting.
Abigail, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
my name's Abigail.
Wow.
That's very good. That's a good start.
I know. I always start that way. So,
My name's not.
I always start at the beginning.
I'm 25.
She's older than
I
me.
almost said 24, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I'm 25. And then, let's see. I like sports. I like to work out.
Nice.
I'm in school right now.
What are you in school for?
Yeah, what are you going to school for?
I'm in school to be an x-ray tech.
Woo!
So that's fun.
Get that medical field.
And I don't know what else to say about me.
That's
I
good.
really like Dunkin'.
Yes.
Dunkin' sponsor me if you're hearing this.
Dunkin' over Starbucks, right?
Dunkin' over Starbucks. Starbucks basic. Dunkin'
Starbucks is
not.
basic. But I still love it.
Unless they want to
And
sponsor it, too.
overpriced.
Unless you want-
But Dunkin'
Money for us, we'll do it.
Dunkin' is my price range, and they have the best coffee ever.
That's facts. That's facts. Okay. That's beautiful. I love that. Honestly, some of the most eloquent introduction I've had so far.
Wow, good job.
Thanks.
How can I live up to that?
Listen, our episode was still the most fun I had.
It
Like, I'm not
was.
gonna lie to you.
Your guys' episode was really entertaining for
Listen,
sure.
I gotta say, like,
In the beginning, I wasn't so sure because I was like, hey, this. Your wife looked a little like nervous and uncomfortable at first, but then I was
just
like,
went for it.
Sarge, stop talking and let your wife talk. Okay,
yes, I know.
has much better
She's
things to
so
say.
much better than I
better.
am. But listen,
For sure.
you know what I feel bad about is that Adam admitted that the first episode he listened to was that episode, and I was like, that was the PG version of the youth kid that was in here.
That was PG-13.
That was
PG-13.
That was a solid PG-13.
We got 2 strikes.
I was like,
Hey.
we got demonetized. We got the child cap on it. And
Oh,
so
man.
with that, Etienne, could you tell us a little bit about yourself We actually repped you on the last episode. I said that I wasn't allowed to talk about sexy things with Adam and Cassidy present because their youth pastor would come and beat me up.
Yes.
You
Beat you up. Well, that's funny. Like that's. I appreciate the respect that you gave towards me in that moment.
It is so mutual.
My name is Etienne Doucet. I'm the student life pastor at Grace Bible Church. I've been there for about 4 years now. It's been really awesome. I know, isn't that crazy to think about? It's been such a privilege and an honor. And I love sports. I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan and Florida Gator fan. I know. Sometimes I ask myself, Gators are cool, you know what I'm saying? Cowboys is where people go, what is wrong with you? So I just enjoy working out and doing things like that, staying pretty active. But also, I love playing video games, to be honest. Like, I play PlayStation 4, add me, SlowFade08. If you don't know me, at me. I play some Call of Duty, Madden, those kind of things, you know what I'm saying? So, while my wife's studying her way and working on building a career, I'm playing video games at home.
I feel like that's how it works,
accurate.
though.
Yes.
It's accurate.
For real though.
It's my coping mechanism. It's how I cope.
While my wife was going through nursing school, you know what I was doing?
Playing video
I was
games.
playing video games.
Lots of video games. And then you had a kid.
And then, I can't remember the last time I actually played a video game, so even like on the weekends after she goes to bed and Alicia's working and I'm just like, oh, I got this free time, I'm passed out.
Yeah.
I'm asleep.
Oh, man, I bet. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
All right, so that was really good. So one thing about you guys as a mutual component, you are single-handedly, without a doubt, the most competitive people I've ever met in my life. I'm pretty sure Usain Bolt.
Give me a medal for it.
We're the best. That's it.
We're the best at being competitive.
Single-handedly, like you posted something the other day on Facebook. Do you remember what it was about how y'all were competitive?
Yes, yeah. I remember I put on Twitter the other day, I think it was, that I was just talking about how, like, me and my wife, we don't do couple game nights well because we come to win. Like, if you think that, like, we have fun losing, or if there's a game we can play that you can not win at, don't invite us, okay? Yeah. Don't invite us unless you want us to crush your dreams. In fact, I am super competitive, but I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell Abigail a little bit about how she is the queen of competitiveness, okay? It's crazy.
Oh, you want me to talk about it?
Go ahead.
I'm really competitive. I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I have seen, like, we'll have, like, game nights at C20 every once in a while. I have seen Abigail almost flip the table on Uno.
Yes. I just get really worked up, okay? I want to win so bad, and if I'm not, then I don't know how to cope with it.
She's like Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last, you know what I'm saying? So,
pretty much.
We just challenge out there. We'll take any couple, any game. Just know we're heartless and ruthless, and we're really bad losers.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you bust out the impossible game when we want you all to leave the house.
Exactly.
Because you're like, no, this is trash.
This is trash.
We're never coming back here.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We'll be back next week to crush you.
We're getting ready. Yeah. Like spend the entire week in like a Rocky montage.
Train. Yes, exactly. We'll be playing hours and hours of board games, getting better, you know, syncing our mind, like coming up with little cues and how we can like hint to each other and communicate without communicating.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story here, ladies and gentlemen, is do not ever play unless you intend to lose. Yeah.
In fact, I got to tell you something crazy. Like Abigail plays sports with us a lot too, like football and stuff like that. So most recently, she was. This is how competitive she is. We're playing recreational flag football, and like, what happened? You were.
I like to know myself as like the best flag puller out there. Okay, if nothing else, I'm not gonna let you get by me. I'm gonna pull your flag, and I will dive for your flag. Like
literally.
Before I let you get past me, I'll dive for it, and if I miss it, whatever. But most of the time, I don't miss it. So, but this past time we played, I forgot that I'm not invincible, and I dove for someone's flag, and I dislocated my shoulder. But I got the flag, though.
Oh, my gosh.
She got the flag,
I got the flag, and that's the important part.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I just fully imagined that while they were relocating your shoulder, that you were still holding that flag. Like, just like your hand actually physically cannot let go, and they're just like, all right, hold on. I'm like, I will.
I actually popped it back in myself.
Oh my god.
She's ruthless. I'm telling you.
So listen, but here's the moral of the story. Be like Abigail. If you going for it,
Go for
you
it.
better
All
be
in.
tough.
Always.
Yeah, don't challenge Abigail. Like I know, like in experiences, like in just historically, like multiple people we've competed with, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. It's about having fun." It's like no, it's not about having
about
fun.
winning.
I only have fun if I win, and if we lose, I'm
like,
gonna
sure,
yell at my
Sure,
teammates
you guys
until we
have
win.
fun. You guys have fun, and we'll beat you while you're having fun.
Exactly.
We'll
Like
have
you-
fun beating you.
Exactly. That's the best way.
Shows
to be.
up on the Little League field.
It's pretty bad, but
Yeah,
we
we
also
We can't play against each other.
no. I was just about to say.
Yeah,
Guys.
what's
We're like a solid teammates. We're always gonna win, but if you try and pair us against each other, then you're just asking for us to have marital problems.
Exactly. Yes. I think like 80% of the arguments we've had over the last year or
I've
2
actually
years
been over board games.
have been over some sort of competition.
Over a competition when we're put against each other, and either I'm getting mad that he's beating me or he's upset that I'm beating him. Mostly I'll get mad.
Because when I'm winning, my overly bubbly characteristics and personality tends to irk her a little bit.
Overly
and,
bubbly? You mean like you're a sore winner?
Yeah, I didn't know that you could be that.
And so, like we
Yeah.
let's
We're
let's
gonna
round
be
the
right now.
conversation again. Do we have the counselor on the phone?
Yeah, right.
Let's just
Help.
Hello, Chris Taylor.
Hey, can we get,
Shout out to CT.
can we get CT in here? But no, so that's really listen. That is literally
love
like
it.
one of my favorite things about you guys is that I know for a fact that if Dodgeball the movie were to ever happen,
Yes.
you'd be on my team.
Yeah, pick us.
Without a doubt.
Pick us.
Because you would dislocate your arm
Yeah.
swinging.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And I'm a sore winner, so you know what I'm saying? So
like you would just absolutely
just
keep going for it.
yeah, everything. Risk it all.
All right, so last question before we dive into the main intro.
Cool.
I don't know why I said if. Where would you, and you can answer this together or separate, where would you want to go on a romantic getaway? The mountains, the beach, or the city? Any city. You know.
I think we both would say the mountains.
Yeah, I agree. I think the mountains is something that we really want to be and be like our first real vacation as a couple. We want to go to the mountains and ski
Virginia.
and snowboard, do some stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
because we've both been before, but we haven't been in a while. I really want to go.
Yeah.
Mountains
Not
are so
together. Like we
nice.
haven't been together. We've gone in the past with our families and stuff.
Oh no, you
Like
gotta
this,
you gotta
like,
go just.
We gotta
like,
go
yeah.
together.
Yeah, beaches
And
are
we'll
cool.
race each other down that hill.
Yeah. Yeah, beaches are cool.
And then
when
we
you
will
live in Florida.
romantically
Yeah.
sit in front of that fireplace.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, beaches are cool and all, but when you live in Florida, you kind of
Yeah,
whatever.
listen,
You get tired of
that's the
sand.
thing. Like, you get into Florida, you want to be outside
Yeah.
of it. Like,
And the city
Yeah.
stresses me out.
listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, like Virginia, best mountain getaway that we ever did.
We need to put that on the thing. Is that like West Virginia?
Was it
Where there's like
was it-
banjo players?
No, it was
West
just straight
Virginia.
Virginia.
Don't they date
We
their
ate
cousins
that
in
dive.
West
We ate
Virginia?
that dive.
Is that appropriate to say?
I don't think you can go too far into how West Virginia is, but
Yeah.
we might
Didn't
we
Dustin
might
go to
eventually
school?
get listeners from West Virginia, man. You can't like outside them right now.
I think Dustin went to school in West Virginia. That explains a lot.
You want to see T in here?
Why do you keep getting at people? You mentioned like 100 names.
Because now they gotta watch it. 'cause I'm
So
gonna tell them I edit all
the
of them.
episode airs Wednesday. You'll be job hunting Thursday. No,
Yes, most likely.
Please God, no. Edit it
no,
out.
just kidding.
We can't afford that.
Notice I haven't said anything about JJ. Okay. I love you.
We love you, JJ.
You're the best.
You're the best. You're better than the rest of them.
Yes. For sure.
Okay, so dad joke segment. Oh wait, sorry. Dad joke segment. There we go. That's where the slide-in will be. You guys can't see that right now. Okay, so are you... I asked you beforehand who I was going to give this joke to. Etienne, you said that as soon as I started staring at you, you would crumble.
Yeah, I'm weak.
Abigail, I feel like this is where you're competitive. She's rubbing her face to make sure she gets
She's
like...
pinching her own leg right now.
She is dedicated to not smile right now. By the way, if you didn't know, Abigail and I have one huge thing in common. We were both homeschooled.
We were.
We were.
Explains.
Obviously not in the same house.
They're actually brother and sister.
What's the
That was the dad joke.
Yeah.
You laughed. I'm just kidding.
They went to the same school. Oh man.
So yeah, obviously not. But yeah. Are you ready?
Yes.
Given that you told me that you are super intelligent and you brought up physics, I have a dad joke just for you.
Great.
Are you ready, Abigail?
Sure.
You know.
He's laughing. And he
You're
hasn't
not
decided yet.
I'm the anticipation's killing me. Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Ready.
Can we turn
Ready.
his mic off for a little bit? Okay. Ready. You know, physics is a tough world. Who's laughing?
The key is no eye contact.
That's good. With him or with me? Like, because I feel like with him is essential. But you have to look at me. All right. You know, they say that the field of physics is pretty tough.
Etienne, stop. You're going to make me laugh. Go away. He's laughing.
sorry.
We haven't even started.
Go ahead, hurry.
What is funny? The joke hasn't started yet.
Even.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you laugh again, you're going in the other room. Anyway, you know, they say that the field of physics is very tough. It's a kind of a back alley society. And you know, there's one particular part of physics that they say that you shouldn't trust atoms. You know why?
Why?
Because they make up everything.
I mean, it's true, though. So
She knows that because
I
she's
mean-
in physics.
that's what they told me in physics. That's what my professor said.
So listen, I just want to
She
point
got
out,
a 99%.
I just want to point out, if you didn't see that, or if you didn't see that or hear that, Abigail went into like, you know, it's true, this is great, like, yeah, this is awesome. Etienne broke.
I'm cracked. I
The
can't do it.
second it happened, that was great. That was perfect. Good wisdom on who I should give that joke
Exactly.
to, because we would have
Never made through that. Ever.
All right, so
Something's wrong with me.
and we love you for
And
it.
I don't know what it is.
So that'll bring us right into the main stage here, 21 minutes later.
Hey, you
Oh,
know
wow.
what?
We talk too much.
Well, we'll move quickly.
Listen, we go. Yeah, okay. You just done us in right there. You just
Yeah,
said that.
I said it's like when I say I'm not going to preach long.
Yeah. And then
I-
into the next service we go.
All right, we're ready. Here we go.
So here we go. We are here. We're continuing our conversation in the month of love.
Yeah.
You can say that however you want because you guys are married. You can say that.
Yeah.
Love.
Love.
What?
Or that. You can do that.
Isn't that- that's
that
a
is
show.
that is something. But this week we're talking about the topic or the title of this video. I'm going to give it to you right now, Connor, because you always ask me for it. Because I never give it to you in time. Is out of the honeymoon and into the ministry. So we are talking about how. Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Did you see that? Did you?
Connor's face, it's like...
I took it as like out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah, bro.
It's
Good
the same
place.
concept, right? Thank you.
Dude, I'm impressed.
It's the same concept. Like that's what marriage is.
I like it.
So, but all the while Doc McStuffins is going in the background, we're going to talk about relationships.
Cool.
Specifically, you guys who have been married for a couple of years now.
Yeah, just about. April 7th.
April 7th.
Yeah.
Bro, we're gonna
Isn't that
like
crazy?
we're gonna send you a congratulations
Yes.
on your anniversary.
Thank you.
And
And
congratulations, you made it.
congratulations.
Yeah, 2 years you made it. We've arrived.
Listen, 2 years is actually like nobody like believes this, but 2 years is actually a pretty good milestone.
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
year is great.
Yeah. Well, it's great. In today's world, I think so.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about like what like the whole 1 year mark and like what all was going on in 1 year. And I think if you've ever been married, you know like the first year is hard.
That's tough.
Like it's tough.
Yeah.
But
It's a learning curve.
it is a learning curve. It's very much a learning curve. But like if you're looking forward to marriage, if like you've got yourself a little boo and you're like, yo, I'm gonna marry
Hey,
you.
girl, how you doing?
Just understand that yo, she human too. She farts in her sleep.
Whoa.
I've never done that.
Never.
I mean, seriously.
Listen, you want real talk? I don't know how much trouble I'd be getting
Anyways,
into,
let's not incriminate.
yeah. So, but yeah. So that's like
Women don't fart.
women don't fart.
We'll just leave it at that.
They flatulate. That's the nice way.
There's A breeze.
A breeze.
I don't know what it is.
So anyway, but we're talking specifically about like love in marriage in the earlier stages. So like you guys have got a couple years under you almost.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know.
Good
Mad
job.
kudos. See, but this is why. Like, you guys are never going to leave each other because you're so competitive. Somebody at one point said you guys are going to be done in, like...
right.
Just have somebody, like, keep telling you in, like,
you're
50
never going to
years.
make it to 50. And we're like, watch us make it to 51.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And then at 50, you just be like, you're never making it to 60.
Exactly. Hopefully I survive that long.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Have you guys had the conversation about who's allowed to die first?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I think it's her. And she says,
No.
no, it's me. And I say, well, that's awkward.
Yeah.
I told her if I die, like, remarry, you'll be all right. Like, you'll find a rich old man one day, you know?
Listen, if I die,
Take care of you.
she's a registered nurse.
Yeah, she's going to be okay.
And I've got enough life insurance policies. Like,
Sure.
that's how you
Same.
know, like, when you are married, you get
Yes.
that life insurance policy.
Yes. I'm telling her, like, you're going to be sad, but you're going to be sad with a lot of money in your pocket.
Yes.
Much more than I would ever make in 10 years, okay? Congratulations.
But yeah, so...
I'd rather have you though.
Aww.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
So let's dive into this a little bit. We already talked about, like, you guys have been married for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But you guys have a very interesting story, and I'm afraid that I have to, like, round it out. Like, I wish that we hadn't gone so long in the intro.
Yes.
But you know what? Feel free. Like,
Bear with me. Needs an episode. This
huh?
one. Bear with me.
Bear with. Oh, that would be good.
If we need one for this one.
Okay, we'll do that. So listen. Sorry. This was an audible.
Yes.
You know,
Audibles are good.
Audible is good. So if you guys are listening right now, and you guys who I'm interviewing, we will actually talk about your story in the next episode of Bear With Me, which is our little side episode.
Perfect.
Okay, and you guys will have all the time, and that way we can give it its due because
Perfect. Let's do it.
love your story.
Yeah.
It is literally like
The craziest. Kinda
it's the
silly.
most romantic and ghetto thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
in my life.
that is exactly it.
Single-handedly, like
I mean,
it's so cute, and then you're just like, wow,
Little hood
Etienne,
rat.
you were a punk. Like,
Yeah.
like I would have fought you.
Definitely.
But then you see you now, and it's like,
Yeah.
you're
God-
so cute.
God transforms. God transforms for sure.
Listen, that's a gospel presentation
rat.
if ever there was one. Like, okay, so let's dive right into this. We want to talk about. Let's dive right into this. We want to talk about relationships. We want to talk about, like, across the spectrum of relationships, what your thoughts on marriage are, what your thoughts on relationships, love, and so I want to start at the beginning. What were your thoughts on marriage, relationships, love? And let's talk about this individually. Before you met each other, and you can go as far back as you want. You know, compare, contrast, get a good message across. But what were your general thoughts? And either one, you guys can rock paper scissors for who starts. But
Yeah. Marriage for me, growing up, my biological mom and my dad were obviously married until I was 12. I really didn't get a good picture of what marriage was from that. I love them dearly, and they're awesome. My dad is a great man. My mom's who she is, and it's one of those things that I really didn't kind of get a really good, healthy picture of it. But I really was really spoiled when my dad met my stepmom. Beverly, oh my gosh, she was such a godsend. She stepped into our lives and took care of us and raised us as her own. And to this day, I call her mom, and she's someone that I love dearly. So my dad loves my stepmom so well that it completely transformed my vision of what marriage is. If I could be the husband that my dad is. And my stepmom and my dad are just adorable. They spend every moment together. They work together. They everything they do together, and they're inseparable, which is so cool. And I'm so much like my dad in so many ways that it's really cool, and it's encouraging to know that man, he paints such a good picture of what it means to love someone. And my stepmom, oh my goodness, the way that she stepped in and cared for kids that weren't biologically hers. To this day, I really do call her mom, and she's someone who's raised me and used to take us to baseball practice and run around with us and do everything we needed. And I remember looking at this man, this is what marriage is supposed to look like. My dad selflessly loving my stepmom, and my stepmom selflessly loving my dad. And that was cool. I didn't really get a picture of that until I was a little bit older, but I'm glad that I did, because really it shaped and molded kind of what I expected, and also the husband that I want to be going into marriage. So that was just kind of my picture of what marriage looked like for me as a kid, at least.
okay, that's good. That's good.
for me, mine's a little bit the opposite. My parents are, both my mom and dad are still together, and they have been together, like, for all 7 kids in our family. Like,
How many?
there's 7 of us. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, same
So
on
Wait, where are you in the line?
I'm number 5. And yeah.
Crazy.
And the first question people, whenever I say, like, oh, I have 7 siblings, they're like, oh, are your parents still together? Which, when I was younger, I didn't really get that. I'm like, yeah, duh, like, everybody's parents are still together. And, but now I get it. Like, it's just rare to see that.
Yeah.
That if you have that many siblings, especially, that you're not all, like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't
Yeah,
all
they're
have the
not.
same
You're not all
parents.
from the same parents. Yeah.
So, and my dad is a pastor, and my mom, I think, like, I got a really good picture of what marriage is supposed to look like, and the fact that, you know, it's grounded on faith, and that, you know, the hard times, the good times, like, even if, like, we never had a lot of money, like, you know, 7 kids, not a lot of money, like, lot.
Ministry, 7 kids. Yeah, I feel
Ministry,
that.
like,
Homeschool too.
homeschooled,
Oh my
like, we
goodness.
all, my parents did everything as a team, and my dad leads my family and my mom really well, and my mom was always there supporting him, and, like, even though, you know, they would both be equally as involved in like all of our sporting events, and that's all, like, 7 kids, that's a lot of sporting events, a lot of different things to go
And
to.
they're all extremely athletic.
Yeah.
All her brother siblings are
And-
crazy athletic. It's unreal.
And so they're all equally involved in each of our lives, and, like, equally, they instilled, like, the gospel in our lives equally, and I think that, like, the way they did things and the way that they are, like, love each other so well, even though you can tell, like, life's not always easy, and, like, if you can think, I keep mentioning 7 kids, but if you think about, like, having that many kids and all the different issues that may come up
Yeah.
in the midst of that, and, like, the way they handled it, the good times and the bad times together,
Yeah.
and, like, walk through it together and support each other and never, like, undermine each other, like, and support each other through that. Like, I got a really solid picture of marriage,
Yeah.
and it's helped me too in, like, my marriage, because Etienne's a pastor, and so the way my mom was as a pastor's wife, like, a lot of times you don't see pastors' wives like her.
Yeah.
So I, like, aspire to be like that, because she's, like, top notch. I mean, like, she just is always there, even if she's always working, like, nonstop. And
Pastor's wife is a full-time
selfless,
job.
It
yeah,
is.
Full-time
Yeah.
job.
Well, and I think
That she
that's,
doesn't get paid for.
I know, right?
yeah. So
She still has to, like, love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Crazy.
Jeez.
So I got a picture of what, like, real selfless love looks like,
Yeah.
and that all goes back to being rooted on, you know, God's selfless love for us.
Yeah.
So, and they always would bring attention to that. So I had a solid
Yeah.
view on
Yeah.
marriage before.
So, stepping into the now,
Right.
coming up on 2 years of marriage, has y'all's perspective changed on what marriage is, on how it's
Yeah.
functioned at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's just changed because, like, really it's one of those things that marriage seems really mysterious. Like, it seems like everyone, like, it's talked about, but it's not. You mean, like, no one really, like, lets you know their dirty laundry. I mean, people, like, try to paint their marriage in the best possible way, or they paint their marriage as the worst thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like, I feel like you don't get a really good picture even going into it. But I feel like our expectations were pretty good. And honestly, the one thing that I've really, my perspective changed is, like, I remember thinking, like, I wanted to treat my wife like a roommate. And, like, my roommates, you know, that I had as a single male were easy. Like,
Oh, I know
we
your
could
roommates.
go,
They're terrible.
yeah, we could go eat together, play video games together. We want to do that. But if we wanted to both go in our own rooms and do our own thing, we could. Why? Because
Yeah.
we're not together. So it was like, if I wanted alone time, you know, if I wanted to, you know, just relax, or if I just didn't feel like doing anything. Well, really, in marriage, I've learned that, like, my wife really is my best friend.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is that, like, I really don't have fun without her anymore. I mean, like, sure, there are things I do that I could do on my own, but, like, it means a lot to me when she's supporting me, when she's there. Like, this past weekend, got to preach 3 sermons, and, like, I remember that, like, my wife needed to be studying for that test that she got a 99% on.
Whoop!
And, you know, but the thing was, like, about it is she was, like, she cared so much about being there for me, and, like, it was good because right before I walked on stage, like, I'm having this mini panic attack. Like, I'm panicking, I don't know what to do, I feel like a jumbled mess, and, like, it really was cool to know that, like, let's just call it what it is. Like, marriage is more than just sex, and marriage is more than just like physical intimacy. Like, I really have a best friend who loves me and takes care of me and is willing to stick up for me. Like, I love that when they get my order wrong at McDonald's, I no longer have to just eat it. My wife goes up there and goes up for bat for me. Like, they're like, he said no pickles, and I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what I
meanwhile,
said.
for years, I would just eat the pickles on there anyways. So it really it's really changed,
though.
but it's cool.
Same though.
I
Yeah.
think for me, it's again because I had such a solid look on it before. My parents did a great job of that. I don't think it's changed a lot for me. I think like obviously there are learning curves and stuff when you're not just watching it, you're in it.
Yeah.
So I think that like you said, there's some things like you kind of have to learn along the way, but I don't think like my view on it has changed. I think it's still pretty much the same.
Yeah, and I think that's good. That's a very healthy thing. Like, Alicia and I'll talk a lot about how, and I think this, I'm not condemning them or saying anything bad against my parents or anything because, I love them. But, we never, like, neither one of us really heard about, like, the finances, or we never really, like, obviously your parents aren't going to talk to you about their sex life. Your parents, like, and we thank them for that. They're not going to tell us, like, the nitty-gritty things that honestly, like, are very staple. So it's very, like, marriage is figuring things out along the way.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of it, is that when you find that person that is supposed to be there with you, then that's when figuring things out along the way is not just a solo effort.
Absolutely.
And it has to be a dual thing, because if you're trying to figure things out and she's trying to figure things out apart from each other,
right,
you guys will never figure things out except for what works best for you.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I think it's cool about marriage is like we're different people, and we always are. Like, we're always changing. Like, who Abigail and Etienne were a year ago is different than who Etienne and Abigail are today. And like, I've even seen shifts in like our love languages and how we express love and feel loved. And it's just cool. Because like really like what was once like this is what we did and how we felt about things, like it really drastically changes over time, and that's really cool. So and it's cool because like you're constantly like, marriage is not boring because you're constantly working to learn to love each other better and pursue each other more and things like that. And so
I don't think it like drastically changes, but it does like I think people a lot of times I'll see like people in relationships and they decide like they don't want to be a part of it anymore, and they think that it's because they think that they don't know themselves, or they don't I don't know, but I think it's more so you're always changing a little bit. Like, the older you get, the more experience you get, and the more like your personality changes a little bit, your like what you want changes a little bit, and it's just part of adjusting to that with that person, because you committed to forever, and you learn to like walk alongside them.
Yeah, if the first thing that like they do that bugs you, triggers you, and you're like, oh, I can't do this. Well, that's it. Like
you're already done.
And like you say, like that constant evolution of yourself is necessary, because there has to be these little bits of compromise in your own person.
Yeah.
Like you have to remain yourself as an individual, because that's who you are. That's who God made you to be, and that's who you're attracted to. Yeah. Not obviously not yourself, but maybe I don't know. Maybe. But there has to be those slight little evolutions of your own character, because you're no longer a solo unit.
Yeah.
So
we're a cohesive unit for sure.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, I really love this question. What is your favorite, and keep it, we've already been monetized.
Family podcast.
Family podcast.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Keep it PG.
Yes.
Or keep it G. Not PG. Not even PG.
G.
Because I think PG means something completely different now.
Yeah. Than it used to.
Than it used to.
Yeah. What's acceptable? What's not?
I think PG is just like, I don't know, you can still like chop somebody's head off.
Yeah, probably. Standards are a little crazy right now.
Like I think Disney goes ham.
Yeah, they just go in.
I heard Deadpool was supposed to be PG.
I don't know about that.
Wait, it's not PG?
Wait, did you take all the youth students to see that?
That didn't happen. He's joking.
Disclaimer. Thank you. That's why you have to marry disclaimers.
Thank you. And that is why she's here, because...
Exactly.
Don't want anything to get twisted.
Yeah. So what is your favorite feature about your significant other?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite personality things about Abigail really is that she is like, and I mean this, like she is one of the funniest people that I know, and like she makes me laugh in the silliest of ways, and I think it's like a lot of times like it's in ways that would be like crazy and insane and really stupid to other people, but for me I think it is the funniest thing that she could ever do. And really honestly, I could be cliche and it's true, she's just a beautiful person inside and out, and like her love for Jesus like really holds me accountable and pushes me to be better and draw closer to Jesus. And physically I love that she's just hot, you know what I'm saying? That's nice too. But on a serious note, yeah, she really is. She really is a great person, and I think it's just that people don't realize like a lot of times. I think a lot of people don't get the opportunity to really get to know Abigail, and a lot of people always want to be her friend, like they do, and she's just so busy. But when Abigail is really one of the wisest young ladies I've ever met. I mean, for her age and just her, she ends up mothering a lot of other peers and things like that. It feels like, but. Yeah, anyways, I love her. Yeah. She's awesome.
So don't cry.
Yeah.
You know, kiss him in the car.
Right.
That's fine. So your response. What is your favorite feature, personality, or physical, or both? That's fine.
She likes my butt.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's
G, right?
That's still G. That's still G. I don't know. Listen. Have you listened to the radio lately? That's every day.
Yes, right.
It's hard. I hate when questions say like, "What's your favorite?" Because I like so much about Etienne.
It's like the whole package.
Yeah, but just like again, you kind of stole mine. I was gonna say because you're so funny.
That's also my biggest quirk, though.
Sometimes it's not that great, but most of the time,
yeah.
Depending on the circumstances, but he always has a way to make me laugh, and like he said, in the dumbest ways. Like most people would probably be like, "What is wrong with you?" But I think that's why it makes me laugh because I'm like, "What is wrong with you?"
That's true.
And yeah, just his personality, the way that he interacts with people, the way he leads people and leads me. I found that like super attractive in the beginning because I feel like so often now a lot of guys like aren't leaders, like they don't lead, and it's not attractive. I'm sorry guys, but like
you taking the back seat. She
Step
having to
up
look in the
your
rearview
game.
mirror.
Yeah.
She want a driver, not a passenger.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, tweet that.
But especially like for me because I consider myself pretty strong leader myself.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
like I need someone who's gonna lead me because and so like how well he led his peers beforehand and like how well he leads me now, like that is super attractive to me.
Yeah, that's
really
good.
Like that.
That's good. And I, like you say, there's not a lot of guys who are willing to be leaders, and I think we should also like just touch on females that would want to be led.
Every female wants to be led. Period. You'll have girls will say, you'll have girls who act like they want to lead, but like deep down, and I think people hear the word submission and they think like it's like totally, I don't know, it's
like
taken
it's a bad word.
It's taken
now,
out of context,
yes.
but it's a matter of like we don't want to have to make the big decisions alone.
Yeah.
We want you to be able to make I can decide where we want to eat sometimes, you know what I mean? But
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's always
Give
a
me some
surprise. I'm
choices
like,
and I'll decide.
wow.
But the thing is I don't mind making decisions, but I want someone to make decisions with me and sometimes for me, like.
All right, so that's a really good thought. I really like that and appreciate it. And again, we could spend so long talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
can of worms, sorry.
so much. Listen, no, it's so great. Yeah. So great.
We'll just need to have one time Abigail come out here and she can talk by herself all about talk these ladies up, what they need in their lives. Yeah, right. Alicia, I bet they can speak.
We'll speak some fire.
Girl talk.
Hey,
Girl
schedule
talk.
it. Girl talk.
Girl talk.
Mama Bear, Girl Talk segment.
Yes.
The
Mama Bear podcast.
What have we done?
We'll change the
What
intro
have
for
we
that
done?
one episode and
We'll just cross out the P and put an M.
We got space in March.
We gotta put two M's.
Let's jump a couple questions here. Oh no, I really like this question. I really want to get into this. Is there anything, and there may not have been, but I like this question. Is there anything that was a challenge initially when you guys got married that maybe like when you first got married you didn't expect this, you didn't see this coming, like that was a challenge at first? You kind of like looked at this and you're like, you must be crazy. And but overall in the end it ended up really strengthening that relationship.
Yeah, I think in the very beginning, like our first 6 months of being married, like, was really, like, loose, and we kind of just were treating each other like we were, I think we would almost didn't want to communicate, like, some of the things that we didn't like about each other at the moment, like, the things that were kind of agitating, because when you go from not living with someone, I mean, we waited until we got married to move in, obviously, we really started off with, like, zero really understanding, because you don't know what it's like to live with someone till you live with them.
Yeah.
And so, I think, like, when we moved in together, there never were no major things, but I think, like, things like normal, I would play video games super duper late, and she would just sit there and watch Netflix, and it was cool. We were cool with it. And then, like, really till, like, one point, finally got to a point where I was like, wait a minute. Abigail's like, okay, so I think it's cool that you like to play video games, and that's fine. But every single night for 3 hours until 12 o'clock, and then we're going to bed, like, and I'm already falling asleep, like, that ain't gonna cut it. But I think through those things, those expectations that we kind of priorly discussed but didn't really truly get to dig deep into, we started to learn to communicate, okay, this is a safe place for me and you to be able to talk about things that we disagree with, and really work through a solution that we reach a compromise, because that's the only way that we can do this. So I would think that was one of those things, was just a little thing, like, little quirks and things we did that we really had to come to the light and be like, hey, I actually really don't like that you do that. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Can we kind of fix that, or maybe find an alternate solution to that?
Yeah.
So
I think at first thinking about this, I didn't really know. I think that there wasn't a lot that was unexpected necessarily, but something that was kind of a challenge in the beginning, and I think even now it still kind of is, but it's just like how it goes. But we're both really extroverted people. We like to hang out with people, and I think that sometimes finding a balance between like hanging out with each other and being around other people is hard.
Yeah.
And Etienne even more so than me, like,
sure.
with being at the church all the time and like hanging out with his friends and all that, like, and I don't get me wrong, I like to hang out with friends, but I also like to spend time individually.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's hard to find a balance there. And in the beginning, it was like really like
bad.
way harder. Like it was like I felt like I was always saying something to Etienne about like why, like, you're always hanging out with your friends, you're always at the church, like, you're giving everybody 100%, and I'm getting like 10%, if that. And I was like, what? Like, we have to find a better midpoint, because it was a lot harder then. I think we've gotten a lot better at it now.
Oh yeah.
Like finding balance.
Which
but
has taught me to say no. You know, say no to sometimes good things so that I can say yes to, like, the best things. And a lot of times that's my wife, even if, like, I want to go preach or someone invites me to go speak or go to a conference for a weekend. And that just sometimes isn't going to serve my wife. I mean, when the first 2 months we got married, I had ACL surgery, and I went to a conference, and then I went to something else. I was gone, like,
he was gone.
I was gone 2 weeks out of, like, the first 2 months we were married.
Yeah.
And, like, Abigail's like, yeah, can we not do this? And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. That's not a good idea. And there were things that I could have missed out on, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I didn't kind of have the common sense yet to realize, wait, I should probably spend more time with my wife, you know.
And again, that comes with that time, and that comes with the realization that you know you're not your sole unit anymore. You have another person.
Yeah.
And as guys, especially like with the extroverted side, we love to like spend time with everybody, and
Hang
we're like
with the bros.
And man, yeah, you know, bust open a cold one. With
Cracking a cold with the boys. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
Soda. Cold soda.
Yeah,
Cold soda.
Yeah,
Coca-Cola.
he's not 21 yet.
Oh, Coca-Cola.
Friday.
Ooh.
Friday.
We're gonna get you some cold soda.
Cold soda.
Cold
soda.
Soda. Coca-Cola.
Some root beer.
Ginger ale.
So yeah, that's like one of those things that kind of like pops up that you don't expect,
Yeah.
or that you may have expected.
Gone.
But yeah.
For sure.
Did you just drink the last?
No,
of
I
her
left her a
drink?
bit. I did not. I left her the last sip.
I'm drinking grape juice. He drank all.
You know what? Every time I drink that, I feel sanctified because it tastes like communion. So honestly, I want to keep drinking it because right now I feel holier than ever.
Shout out to all the Baptist churches.
That's
Oh my gosh.
That's it. I feel sanctified. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna bounce around just a little bit because we are running just a little bit short on time.
Yeah, come on, let's wrap it up.
All of this has been great.
Yeah, enjoyed this. This is a lot of
So, I think you kind of talked about it just a little bit, but Abigail, for example, you
Hey, smile,
are in school. You don't have a job right now, but you did.
Mm-hmm.
So school, job,
Yeah.
marriage,
Youth pastor's
friendships,
wife,
like, youth
mentor,
pastor's wife, yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
How do you balance all of that?
Very delicately.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. My first semester was a lot.
Really
'cause
bad, really rough.
Yeah.
It was hard. I had 4 classes, and they were 4 hard classes. It wasn't like 4, like 2 of
Like
them
music
were electives,
appreciation,
you know what I mean?
or like
It was 4 hard classes, and
Like PE.
yeah. And I was working 20 to 30 hours a week.
yeah.
And I was still volunteering in the youth group and coming to C20
Mm-hmm.
and like in church on Sunday and all of the, and still trying to like mentor people that
Yeah.
I had connection with, and it was just like so much. I think that I spent almost all my free time studying, and Etienne played a lot of video games.
Yeah.
And
To the point that I got bored of them.
yeah.
I was like,
He was
babe, can we
he was
hang out?
Yeah,
Can
that
we
is
hang
a
out,
lot.
please? So like it
That's
got
what's
to
bad.
that.
Yeah, that is
It's
bad.
bad.
You hit rock bottom.
So, it was definitely hard. I think that this semester I realized before going into it that I wasn't gonna be able to work like a job where, well, I was working at the bank and it was bank hours during the day. So now that this semester school got a little more extensive because I'm doing clinicals. So the bank wasn't gonna work anymore because of the hours the bank's open. So I just kind of dropped that. Like, we had talked about it, and I said, it's better I just don't work and then wait until I can find another position part-time or something.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking, but I think, and I am working technically. I am training, so it's hard to balance all of it.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of learning what to say no to,
Yeah.
which thankfully, like this point in my life, I don't think I'll ever master it, but I think I've gotten a lot better than I used to be at it. I used to say yes to everything,
Yeah.
and now I think I've kind of learned to, I can do this, and then I have to cut down on that because I still need to spend time with my husband and all of that. So, but me not working has been a huge relief. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a little more free time, which is so nice because last semester I had 0 free time. So thank you to my husband for letting me not work
Always.
for now.
It's fun.
Hey, you're getting a FaceTime call from Shayla.
Please don't do
I feel like I should answer it.
It's okay.
Should I? No? Are you sure?
I'd be so thrown off. No.
Don't tell me that because I will 100% do that.
She'll be like, hey,
Whoa.
But what?
Wait. So should I decline?
decline, yeah. She knows
I can
what-
hang
she
up
knows
on
what
your
I'm doing.
girlfriend?
I don't know why she's calling
Hung up on your girlfriend.
Whoa.
me. Hey, but I told her where I was.
She
She
knows.
knows.
I
She knows where he
told you
is.
that
She knows
Shayla
where
has
he
to
is.
text in questions
It's
and
okay.
comments
Yes.
so that we can have our time with Shayla.
Yeah.
I get
remember
enough
you
time with
mentioning
you,
that.
bro.
Wait, you get tired of it?
Dude.
Yeah.
No.
I think
Never.
I also want to add to what I was just saying. I think that part of balancing that was like communicating with Etienne and saying, like, do you want, like, is it okay that I do this, or do you think it's okay that I don't work, or
Yeah.
what? It was a matter of, we kind of figured out my schedule together.
Yeah.
And had to find a balance there, because if we didn't talk about it, we would just have never seen each other.
And
Yeah.
because that can be so scary. Like, we talk about, to balance, we have to cut things out. And it sounds so simple.
Yeah.
But it can be so scary
It's
because
very scary.
you're losing money when you cut
Yes.
the job. You're losing
Yeah.
like time with your social, and you're all these different things that
Yeah.
saying no is actually, it's a big step, especially
Scary.
for extroverts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Got
share a lot,
FOMO.
and mad love to my introverts.
Yes.
But
We are jealous of you.
yes,
We are.
because
wish I
y'all
could-
know how
I
to
wish I
say
could
no
say
like
no like
crazy.
Yes. I wish I could just be like, no, I don't have the energy to do this.
Like that's the thing. My wife was like, at one point, I think I was involved in just about every ministry
just
that
about
I
everything.
could have been.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And so
Every weekend too, and every
Every-
Wednesday, and every Sunday night, and every.
I literally, I think at one time with my volunteering, I was doing, I think I had one day off where I wasn't at the church.
Yes. Yeah, I do remember that.
And it took you guys, but also my wife.
Because we used to have Saturday night services,
Yes.
and so it was like, yeah,
Yeah.
So we had practice
Thursday,
on Thursdays. I
Saturday,
think Friday was my
Thursday,
only
Saturday,
day
Sunday.
off.
yeah.
And that's if we didn't
Yeah.
have a special event or something. And so it took you guys pulling me aside, and then my wife, who
An
was the
intervention.
biggest help, to be able to say, you need to stop.
Yeah.
And especially when my daughter came along, she's like, who are you going to serve?
Yeah.
Are you going to serve? And it's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong.
No,
I'm not saying
not at all.
PSA against service
Yeah.
or serving. But she was like, who are you going to serve? Are you going to serve everybody else
Yeah, for sure.
or your family?
Yeah.
And that was like the biggest gut check. It was just like,
Sure.
oh my gosh, I'm failing my family.
Yeah.
Like, you just, that.
Yeah. Yeah, we just figured like being a little bit tighter, obviously it has challenges, but just realizing that like we found more creative ways to be able to do things and just come together. And so and that's another thing too. It's like, yeah, it sucks like at times like we're like, man, we can't do nothing because we're just so broke. But like we're also like it's caused us to be more creative with the time we spend together, but also like, man, we just really enjoy sitting at home eating pizza and watching Grey's Anatomy. Like that's something that we do all the
Grey's
time
Anatomy.
and like we enjoy that. And so
Good
like
show.
that's date night for us right now, and we do that almost every night now because that's what we do.
If I'm
And
not studying.
if she's not studying, so we'll go home tonight and watch Grey's Anatomy and probably eat pizza. I mean,
Listen.
that's just realistically
Probably,
what we're gonna do.
actually.
And Abigail, could you just tell us very briefly, and then we'll do 2 more questions before we do our outro.
Cool.
Very briefly, what is your favorite restaurant?
Chick-fil-A.
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 Listen, when Kanye was writing
Close on
his
Sunday.
new worship album, he contacted
Me.
Abigail and was like, "Yo, Ab, I need
Yeah.
to know what is the Christian restaurant?" And she's like, "Chick-fil-A."
Yeah. She
If you
advised
want,
him.
if you want to get Christian viewers and listeners,
Say Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah, Abigail actually started a petition that
She
took off
did.
I did.
to get a
You
Chick-fil-A
got
in
like a
Sebring.
few thousand people
Yes,
on that,
it got
didn't
pretty
you?
serious.
It was all over Facebook. I started a petition that said help Abigail bring Chick-fil-A to Sebring.
Yes, and everyone's liking and sharing it like it's
Everybody-
crazy.
I had like over 500 shares and like
I want to say there was like
it was like almost 2,000
Yeah.
signatures.
I think it capped 2,000.
Yeah.
It capped it. I capped it at 2,000. I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna get that many," but it came almost
Who
up
knows?
to that
It
point.
could have been like 100,000.
There may be more now. I don't know, but it's
Yeah, we'll
still
find
there.
that petition.
Yes.
We'll let you know.
I actually have it in my Instagram bio still.
Do you really?
I do
I did not know that.
because I'm still hopeful.
Listen,
Don't
Chick-fil-A.
stop believing.
Chick-fil-A.
Hey, we do. We
We
will
do
advocate
here.
for
We
you.
want you.
We don't just want you. We
All
love
I
you.
need in
We need
Sebring
you.
is a Chick-fil-A.
Listen,
Like, I have everything else. I
this
just
girl
need
what
a
she
Chick-fil-A.
wants.
Listen, we
And I'll be
cannot
complete.
function because we are not. Listen, here in Sebring, the closest Chick-fil-A is Winter Haven.
Yes, about an
That's-
hour.
That's about an hour. And listen, I want to let you know, I love me some chicken minis, but they only serve chicken minis at breakfast.
Yeah, you're not getting up that early.
I'm not getting up
Not
that
on your
early.
day off.
No. And listen, most of my day off is like Sunday.
Exactly. And guess what we're doing on Sunday?
Guess what? Guess what's not open on Sunday?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. All right, we need to move on because
Yes.
this is gonna make me upset.
Yes.
Can of worms.
Okay, so we're gonna skip a couple here, but how I think you guys have already talked about how big of a role faith plays, and
Sure.
and I think that has just been a constant content throughout all of this question, which I think is beautiful, and it really does speak to really how prioritized you set that.
Yeah.
And so really briefly, just kind of like put a bow tie on the whole conversation as far as like how faith plays into marriage and specifically how faith has played into your marriage. There is a
Yeah.
cute baby in a bear towel
Yes.
right behind you.
Oh, so cute. She's so cute. Yeah. So as for faith in our relationship, I mean, it's honestly everything. I mean, really, like, it was Jesus that brought me and Abigail together, and like, I just remember that like our relationship wouldn't be a thing without Christ, and I don't know how people go through relationships without him because really, like, a lot of times, like, it's Christ in me that helps me love my wife, and Christ in her that helps me love me. Because really, aside from that, like, without Jesus, I mean, all the problems feel so much bigger than they really are, and
Yeah.
I think like Jesus causes us to like really self-reflect.
That was good. Abigail, did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I agree that faith really is the center of everything in our relationship because at the end of the day, we're imperfect people.
Yeah.
We all are. We're human. So if we don't have someone who is perfect in the center, like kind of recalling us to, self-reflect, like he was saying, then like there's nothing holding us together in that perspective. There's no reason to kind come back together and apologize, and you know what I'm saying, if you don't have that self-reflection aspect of that, like Christ calls us to do in ourselves, so it kind of all stands on that.
Sure.
And that is so good how you say that if we don't have that self-reflection aspect, and I think that's what hurts so many relationships, is that we hurt each other.
Yeah.
But then we never stop to think, hey, I'm going to be the problem.
Yeah.
Because we're always constantly aggressive, and we forget so often that the other person has issues, the other person has problems, the other person has baggage.
Yeah.
And so along with that, we forget that, man, I might have hit a button.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm the king of hitting buttons.
Same.
Like I think it's just a guy thing.
It's all men.
Yeah, I think ladies know the buttons, they know where to hit,
Yeah.
but they don't unintentionally.
It's just
hit.
strategic.
We strategically
They
hit it when we
strategically-
need to.
Yes.
We just accidentally.
Men, we just like fumble like a dang like bulldozer through a
I don't know how I do
minefield.
it, but
It's like, I know your button. I'm
yeah.
waiting.
Sometimes
Wait.
things leave my mouth and I'm like, this is a compliment, and then they land and they're not.
Terribly.
And I'm like, that was totally a good
We've-
thing I
We've
said.
talked
right?
about a few of those before.
Yes,
And they
yes.
like
things I thought
remember-
were great things I said, and I'm like,
yeah.
you would want to hear that.
Yeah, like how did you misconstrue that?
And it's just like, well, maybe it's
but
not.
then like you tell it to an older married person, like
Yeah.
my next week's guest is my mentor.
Yeah.
And
It's terrifying.
I've talked to him about some of the things I've done in marriage, and he's like, "You're stupid."
Yeah.
Like he's great because he will just flat
He
out tell
definitely
me,
will.
"Let me like rebuke you as a husband." He has
Yes.
told me that before.
Yes. Yeah.
And also rebuked me as a father before, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
It's a
That's what
multitasker.
that's what you want in a mentor, okay?
Yes.
So you want someone who's going to tell you how wrong you are. You know?
But listen, I can't tell you, like, yeah, so good. So let's wrap this up. Let's put a bow on this whole conversation.
Let's do it.
What advice? Oh, and then we also have gifts for you guys.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow.
Talking about wrapping a bow on it.
Wow.
What advice, you can do this together or separate, would you give to a dating couple?
I think that first and foremost, if you're dating, you should be dating to marry, not just dating to date. So
Talk about the last episode.
if that is not your end goal, then first of all, ask yourself, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you are dating to marry and that is your goal, then I think talking about everything you can now and getting advice from people like mentors in your life, pastors, whoever, taking in all the advice you can before helps so much. Like how I said earlier, there wasn't a whole lot that wasn't unexpected that we had to work through because we literally talked about everything we could possibly talk about, even the stuff that didn't seem significant, like we talked about. And know that if you're dating and you're like trying to see if this person is prospectively who you want to marry, then figure out if you guys have the same morals, same standards, if you're moving in the same direction in life. Because if any of those things kind of don't match up, you're gonna have a really hard time spending the rest of your life with this person. And if there's things that you're already having a really hard time with now, and you're constantly back and forth, or you feel like you can't trust that person or whatever the issue is, then again, I would ask you, like, what are you doing? Because it's not just going to fix itself.
Yeah, marriage
overnight.
compounds problems.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's good.
And
I like that.
Yeah, just not to beat a dead horse. She nailed it. But I think one of the real practical things about dating is just like, hey, set very healthy boundaries. And I know it's so cliche to say, but like remain pure in your mind and your heart and the way that you treat one another. Because really, like, and I agree, you're dating to marry. Like if the end goal is not marriage for both of you, or if it's for one of you, if one of you say, I don't know, I want to be married one day, and someone wants to be married tomorrow, like you realize that you're always going to walk through life in that dating relationship like really conflicted, because you're going to feel like, when is he going to ask me? Is he ever going to ask me? And then you create an expectation that's not fair for him, or they create an expectation that's not fair for her. And so that's just a good thing, dating wise.
That's good. And then last, what advice would you give to either an expecting, like an engaged couple, or a couple that just got married?
Yeah, so I think this is something that we've adopted from a couple, which we think is pretty awesome, and we do this, we really do. I think this has been so healthy, and I don't know if every other couple doesn't do this, but like one thing we don't do, or one of the two things we don't do, and it's just gonna sound weird talking about it, but we don't believe and we don't ever use the word divorce or the D word we call it. We don't ever use that word
Sounds
because
weird coming out of your mouth.
we don't
right?
ever use it because a great couple, the Lowrys, told us these two things, and they've been really beneficial. And it's just a cool reminder that it's like, because why? Because at the end of the day, even if my wife, even if we're in a knockout, drag out, that never even creeps across my mind.
Yeah.
And we believe words are powerful, and when you speak things like that word, or giving up, or walking out on each other, any type of thing like that, or breaking up, whatever you want to use, like those are things that you're speaking, and then they can become crept into their minds. And so even the days that when me and my wife have argued to the point of being like, we need to be away from each other, like we need timeouts, it never crosses our mind like we're not gonna make it out of this, or this isn't gonna work for us. And the second one is we don't talk about our problems, and we mean this in like that we don't talk bad about each other to our friends.
Yes.
Because really, like, if I get around my guys and I start talking about how my wife is so annoying, well, they're going to affirm that, and they're going to constantly grow that and water that seed, and that's such a poor thing to do.
Yeah.
And as much as she doesn't go around her girlfriends and say, my husband he always does this or this, like, sure, we go to people and we have couples that we trust to speak into our marriage, but we do that together.
Yeah.
Because really, like, my friends, especially my single friends, have nothing they can offer me about my wife other than affirmation for my false feelings.
Yes.
And the fact that I feel this way, when in reality it's completely irrational and silly. So that's two things that we really, and someone taught us those, and we love those. And that's been so good. I don't have to worry about my wife talking crap about my back, behind my back, which is kind of cool and nice. So
Yeah. And to add to that, those are two things, like you said, we really do follow that. And like I said, when he said the D word, I was like, that sounds weird coming out of your mouth. Because we don't use it because why would you say it unless you really mean it? So you don't want to throw it out there and have it become something that you think, oh, they really are always thinking about this, you know? And then that just causes a lot of issues. But and something else that I wanted to add is that and I think this is super important, and something that we try to do most of the time is that we want to always speak our expectations, because I had a mentor tell me once, and I always use this so many times, but that unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments.
Ooh.
And that's for like relationships in general, not even just like marriage, but like friendships, anything.
Yeah.
Because if you're not telling that person what you expect of them, if you have your own little expectations that you're making up in your mind, like, I can't believe he doesn't buy me flowers for Valentine's Day. I mean, like, there's even little things like that. It's like, if you're not kind of speaking those expectations to that person, then they don't know what they don't know, and you're deciding to yourself, I'm going to resent them for this if they don't do it.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge thing too. It's just like telling each other what you expect.
That's good. This has been a great conversation, guys.
This has been fun.
Did you guys have fun?
We had a lot of fun, and sorry we talk so much.
Sorry.
Listen, this was I think the longest episode we've done. But I'm serious. We need to have another episode, because I'm telling you, we could have gone like so deep into the whole submission leader part, and you and me just anything.
Absolutely.
Like, we could just you and me could literally talk about the wall.
Yes.
You see how that indent looks like Jesus? I'm just kidding. So we have a gift for you guys.
What?
Because we love you guys
this
so
thing?
much. And I just don't be salty.
I'm not salty, bro. What?
Don't be salty, bro. You know I love you.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
Connor looks so sad.
huh?
Hand them the present.
Oh, let Abigail open it.
Okay,
She
here you
loves
go.
opening presents.
I love to open presents.
Okay, so here we go. Abigail, for you who are listening, Abigail is currently opening a present. I'll describe this
open, yep.
ASMR style.
Oh gosh.
It's a
Whoa! Nice.
Would you like? Can you describe for our listening audience what this is?
It is a Papa Bear podcast T-shirt.
Blue Papa Bear podcast.
It's blue. I think it looks blue.
Yeah, it's
What's
blue.
it say?
Sometimes I can't tell if blue is black or black is blue.
She's colorblind.
We got your
It
size
is
from your
blue.
husband, so we assume it's correct.
It's accurate. Good job.
Woo!
Thank you.
Brownie
Thank you.
points.
It's only because she wears my shirts and I wear mediums.
On the back, too.
And it has,
Hi.
and on the back it has the
Whoa!
Papa Bear Podcast Instagram, the
Also-
Papa Bear Podcast Twitter, and the Papa Bear Podcast
Listen, feel that
YouTube.
shirt. Feel that shirt.
It's
Is
so
that soft?
soft.
It's soft.
I
Okay.
love it.
And this is our. Do you guys like that? Is
Yeah.
that okay?
Yeah.
Listen, we figured like you guys wear t-shirts all the time.
Yes.
This
I'm
is
a
your
t-shirt.
jam.
We are
Yeah.
t-shirt T-shirt people. T-shirt.
T-shirt.
I wrote T-shirts.
And so listen, because this is our 10th episode, we did want to do something crazy that we have never done before.
Bum, bum, bum.
And
Is that a gun?
Yes.
I'm just kidding. It's not a gun for the listeners. It's not a gun.
There's a lot of them behind that wall that
Yeah.
we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. So don't.
Connor, could you come here?
Oh man.
Connor.
Connor.
Listen,
Connor.
we have never done this before. Connor,
Never.
thank you for stepping into the camera.
Hey, I'm sorry.
He had to crouch down. So Connor, I know you've been salty, bro.
No, dude, I'm good.
That's what a salty person would say. Yes!
Yo.
Hold it up for the world
We
to
have
see.
for Connor, our producer, finally
Yeah, bro.
A Papa
a
Bear.
bear.
And it's blue, bro.
Wow.
Thanks, dude.
Dude.
I just want to thank my mom.
Thank my friends. My personal Lord and Savior,
Is
Jesus
this
Christ.
such,
Jersey Swap.
is this such a special moment?
So all of the shirts are from our creative arts director, also known as my wife.
Yes. Give it up for Alicia, the way better sergeant.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's two of them over there.
That's true. You're
She's
third.
way
You're
better.
now the third best. You're the third best.
I'm the
sergeant.
third best. But follow her page at Crafty Nurse on
Crafty
Instagram.
Nurse.
She's
I need to
crafty.
follow
Crafty
her.
Nurse. Yeah, follow her,
Right
bro.
now.
Come on.
It's unacceptable.
Don't follow my baby. She doesn't have any socials yet. Yeah. So, but thank you guys for joining us on this episode. We absolutely loved having you guys. We love the conversation. We love giving you gifts. You still owe me a dinner that I bought,
Yes.
or breakfast or lunch.
I
Whatever.
can't wait. I'm actually
don't
looking forward to that. You know what? I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. Thank you for supporting our youth group. You and your wife, we do appreciate it. You guys are also amazing small group leaders.
Yes.
And, like, y'all don't get enough credit for all the amazing work you do. So thank you for buying a lunch date that I would have gladly given you for free.
Yeah, right.
Anytime. So,
Listen, I
spoiler
want to
alert.
let you know I stared down Patrick because he was about to go outbid me,
You're like,
and I looked at this man like,
you're like,
fight you.
yes.
I will fight you.
Stop it.
Wow.
And he looked at me and he's like, no.
I'll take 50.
It was
to be fair, he's going golfing
with Dustin.
with Dustin.
And Dustin was like, Patrick won that? I was like, oh yeah. Can't wait for you guys to go golfing together.
Oh my goodness. I love that. All right, guys. So that'll do it for this episode
Thank
of
you.
the Papa Bear Podcast. Be sure to look out for that episode, the mini-sode of Bear With Me, where we talk to these two lovebirds about their whole story. Which
Our
we will
love
be.
story.
Yeah, the love story. We'll play Taylor Swift in the back and demonetize that.
It drops Saturday.
What?
It drops
It drops Saturday.
Saturday.
My producer had to tell me that. What is my daughter doing?
I didn't drink a cup of before.
Oh my gosh. She's still working on it. Don't judge my baby. So we love you guys. Anybody want to do the outro? Do you guys know how to do
What
the
is?
outro? Okay, I'll
wanna
teach
mess
you
it
the
up.
outro, and then you guys can rock paper scissors for whoever wants to do.
Okay.
Say it together.
Wait, what? What's happening?
Okay. You just keep
What's
going. Just keep
happening?
talking.
There's a shirt in there for him too.
Yes, there's 2 shirts in here.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was okay if you just gave her one. You see, that's how I'm learning to be married.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not jealous. I was
Okay,
just
so
like,
here's the outro.
it's our shirt.
This has been the Papa Bear Podcast. You gotta emphasize the Papa Bear Podcast. If you're
Okay.
telling your friends about it.
If you're telling
Good
your
night.
friends. Good night. All right.
Are you ready for that?
Are you ready?
Okay.
Do you want to do it
Simultaneous.
in
We
unison?
can do this.
So we say
You gotta
This
get
has
closer to
been
the mic.
the
You gotta-
Papa
this. What is?
Oh wait, here. You ready? I'll do.
Here
on
we
the count
go.
of 3. No, I gotta do 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
This has been the You left me behind.
I forgot it.
This has been the okay.
Okay, this has been the
You know
Papa
what?
Bear Podcast, the Papa Bear Podcast. If your friends are asking about it, right?
Yeah, we
Whoa!
That's good.
And-
That
Do that.
Something about good night.
We love you. Good night.